We don't talk about that. We don't talk about how fearful it is to relive certain things that altered your life. Mm-hmm. We don't talk about how scary and egregious it is when you have to go and face certain things that change the way you believe and cope with life.
Absolutely correct.
Because the reality is, when I was in my darkest places and I was dealing with my journey, it was very fearful and scary. It was very dark. It was very lonely. It was very isolated.
Yes.
Because the truth of the matter is, when you lean into this healing journey, it's not going to be easy.
Absolutely not.
People are going to start first of all, you're afraid and you're ashamed. You're afraid of how people are going to judge you.
Right.
You are afraid of how people are going to respond to you. You are afraid of the backlash that come with telling your truth. It's very fearful. It also messes with your psychological.
And not only that, when you're on that journey, you mostly think about relationships. Like, you don't put yourself first and realize that this is something that I'm doing for myself that will positively impact all of the important relationships in my life. But the first thought is, who's this gonna hurt?
Who can I protect?
Who's gonna be upset with me? Who should I protect? What shouldn't I say? Things like that. And it absolutely stifles and suffocates the process.
Welcome back to another episode of the Big Dog Talk podcast, and it's the boy Big Charles in the building, baby.
Welcome back, Big Shay. I feel like I'm welcoming myself back.
You really are. You've been gone for a minute.
You gave me a little mini vacation.
You definitely took a break.
Or did I take a break?
You took a break.
I ain't no good.
And I can't fire you because I need you.
But hey, it's me. I'm Big Shay. I'm back on the mic and I'm back in the building and I'm feeling myself.
Man.
I just welcome myself back, though.
You just what? You guys give a hand clap for Big Shay coming back to work.
Hey!
Coming back to work. She took a leave of absence.
I definitely did take a leave of absence, and it was necessary.
Well, you look bright.
Oh, well, thank you.
Skin look good.
Thank you.
You look good, though.
Thank you.
I'm actually glad you took some time off because it gave me some time to even learn more.
I love that.
About myself and the podcast.
I love that.
So it's all good. It taught me a lot.
It was unexpected time off, but it worked out.
Right.
Yes.
But I want to dive right into it.
Let's get it.
I want to be honest with you guys. I want to go straight into it. I had another episode planned for today. We had another episode planned for today, but at the last minute, our guests decided that they didn't want the episode to be aired. Just to give you a little backstory, you know, I like to keep it all the way honest on the Big Dog Talk podcast, our healing community, this safe space. You know, dealing with trauma and reliving the past is not an easy thing. And my guest had reached out to me to share his story. He wanted to share his story. My guest reached out saying that, you know, I believe I'm ready to share my story. I believe that it will help others. We went through the episodes. We went through the videoing. And 2 days before the release, my guest decided that he wasn't ready yet. So this episode is it's an expeditiously episode. But I also understood once my guest got a chance to see a clip of some of these things that he had to relive and how it affected him. I understood because I know what it's like to face darkness. So here we are today. We're going to discuss facing our darkness and what it's really like when people talk about healing, when people talk about a healing journey. It sounds good when you say healing. It sounds pleasant, but really it's not. And that was one of the reasons I wanted to create and cultivate a community where we have like stories, have each other, have similar stories, because I understand that it's really not easy.
Right.
Talking about it by yourself, dealing with it by yourself, not getting the professional help, not having a safe space, not having the support. This is one of the reasons why I created this platform, so that we don't have to go through these circumstances alone.
Right, right. And I mean, when you mention like healing, I think that, I know for sure in 2023, it was a word that you could just hear thrown around so loosely. And like a part of me felt really good that, people realizing that healing is necessary in order to navigate towards becoming the best version of yourself. But even with that, when a word like healing is used so loosely, it makes me feel like sometimes people don't really understand the dark side of healing, the intensity of healing, and how it's really a transformational process that a lot of times looks very ugly, very scary, and very nasty. And I could say that for my own personal healing journey that I'm still on, because healing is continuous. It's not something where I'm healed.
And you put it to the side.
No, it's healing. You're always healing. You're always working on things within yourself. And so respectfully, when you shared the news with me, that our guest, wanted to kind of pull back and not have the episode released, obviously, as a business person, I'm like, dang, the impact that that's going to have on the business is, it's a huge setback. And there was time spent, just the whole business side of it. But then once I tapped into, just the human side of people and understanding and knowing what a healing journey looks like and how scary it can really be, I became very sympathetic towards the guest, and really, was praying that, one day as, he continues on his journey, that he can come to a place of peace and give himself more grace in order to continue to grow and become more aware of the things that, spiritually and emotionally, are suppressing him.
See, I understood instantly, I have to be really aware having this platform.
Yes.
I have to be really aware. I have to be really sympathetic. I have to be really graceful. And I have to always be able to put myself in the other person's position and shoes to understand where they're coming from.
True.
On a professional side, 2 or 3 days before the releasing, it was like a shocking to the body.
Yes.
But I still had to just be honest with myself. This healing journey is not easy.
Right.
And we don't talk about that. We don't talk about how fearful it is to relive certain things that altered your life. We don't talk about how scary and egregious it is when you have to go and face certain things that change the way you believe and cope with life.
Absolutely correct.
Because the reality is, when I was in my darkest places and I was dealing with my journey, it was very fearful and scary. It was very dark. It was very lonely. It was very isolating.
Yes.
Because the truth of the matter is, when you lean into this healing journey, it's not going to be easy.
Absolutely not.
People are going to start first of all, you're afraid and you're ashamed. You're afraid of how people are going to judge you.
Right.
You are afraid of how people are going to respond to you. You are afraid of the backlash that come with telling your truth. It's very fearful. It also messes with your psychological.
And not only that, when you're on that journey, you mostly think about relationships. Like, you don't put yourself first and realize that this is something that I'm doing for myself that will positively impact all of the important relationships in my life. But the first thought is, who's this going to hurt?
Who can I protect?
Who's going to be upset with me? Who should I protect? What shouldn't I say? Things like that. And it absolutely stifles and suffocates the process.
It definitely suppresses it, and also brings you and unconsciously brings us back to protecting everyone else but self.
Exactly.
And this journey is all about self, putting yourself first.
That's right.
This journey is about freeing yourself. This journey is about clearing up your mental space. This journey is, I think about it often how life has conditioned us to live in a world of duality. Mm-hmm. And what I mean about light and darkness, right and wrong. Mm-hmm. And life conditioned us to shame the dark side, mm-hmm. whether it be through the way we were parented, whether it be through our religious beliefs, whether it be through our circumstances. Life teaches us and conditions us to be shameful of our dark side.
Absolutely.
And when I was going through my really deep depth of my soul searching of just accepting me for what it really is, mm-hmm. my experience with life, I realized that because of my life experiences, I learned to be ashamed of my darkness. Mm-hmm. I learned to be ashamed of everything that I experienced, certain things that I experienced, because I didn't want judgment to come upon me. But once I learned how to sit in that darkness, and this was a scary road.
Absolutely.
Especially when you're doing it alone. It's a scarier road when you're doing this alone. This is exactly why. This is at the top of the list why I wanted to cultivate a community.
Absolutely.
Because no one deserves to go through the healing journey by themselves.
Yeah. And sorry to cut you off, but even when you're in the depths of your healing journey and you are, resonating things and becoming more aware of things, like you said, that have impacted your experience within your life, there are times when you do have a spouse, a significant other, could be a parent there with you, but because it's so intense, it could cause you to feel like nobody really understands. You still feel alone. You still want to feel isolated. So that's why it's important to create those systems in place, because things could happen. Every day is different on your healing journey.
Right.
One day you could appreciate your support system. You could want to talk about it, but then the very next day you can become withdrawn and isolated, and the people around you don't really matter because you're in such a space of reflecting and recognizing some of the impact of your life experience that you feel like nobody really understands what you're going through and really can't help you.
Well, this is why neither one of us are therapists. Neither one of us are professionals.
Right.
But this is why seeking professional help, mm-hmm. and having a loving support system should be the top two priorities when you're going through a healing journey.
Absolutely.
This is my opinion.
Right.
But the issue with having a loving support system that's going to be with you when you're in the belly of the beast, mm-hmm. most of us have unconsciously ruined the relationships with the ones that we need the most.
Right.
And so we do feel alone and lonely.
Right.
Because you really don't have your true rocks with you.
Right.
This is why it's really important to gradually lean into it.
Yes.
Seek professional help.
Yes.
Because reality is you're putting yourself in a vulnerable place. You're dealing with your psyche.
Yes. Stripping yourself.
You're stripping yourself, mm-hmm. to the core of you.
Absolutely.
And sitting in your darkest shadows and learning how to accept your experiences for what it is and rewriting your story.
Absolutely. Yep.
And there's no way that you can rewrite your story without facing your old story and leaning into it bit by bit, piece by piece.
Accepting it.
This is my life. This is what happened to me.
And it's not going to be an excuse.
It's not going to be an excuse for me to be the best version of myself.
Exactly.
My experience does not excuse my poor behavior.
Or how I treat people or how I treat myself. That's not the answer.
Because a lot of us go around unconsciously knowing that we've developed some coping mechanisms.
Absolutely.
To help us cope with our trauma, but it causes hurt to other people.
That's just the way I am.
So if we don't learn how to deal with ourselves, deal with our reality, deal with our story, and sit in it. This is the thing about life. We have to learn how to love and accept everything about us. Reality is, I had to ask myself, reality is, throughout life, I struggled mentally. Not knowing why I was struggling mentally, I've created this warrior mindset that I don't need anyone. I've created this mindset that I'm tough. I've created this mindset that I can do this by myself. I don't need friends. I've created this based off of my environment, based off of my life circumstances, based off of my beliefs, based off of what I've learned. And nobody really understands what a person have to extract from themselves to get to the pureness of the essence of who we really are.
I absolutely agree with that, Charles. I like when you said, throughout your life, you didn't realize that you were struggling mentally. And so, like I said a moment ago, like, that's just who I am. That was me remembering that when I was not operating, in the best version of myself and not treating people a certain way or, not creating, closeness and intimacy with the important relationships in my life, that I had the mindset of, that's just the way that I am. And you can love me or leave me alone, but that's not a space that's creating, one, that's not me treating myself well. That's the first part. And two, it's not okay for you to take your life experiences, be that as it may, and translate that into other relationships in your life. It's very unfair. And so the point of this episode is kind of, us letting our community know that it is our goal in 2024 to become even more intimate with them. Because we did not have to say that, we had another episode for you guys. We didn't have to say that. We could have gone on like we normally do and release content. But I think that through that experience with the guests, it was also very enlightening for us.
And kind of community.
Brought us back to the center of the why behind the Big Dog Talk podcast. And so we wanted to share that with you guys. And with that, I would like for us to just let you guys know what you can expect from us in 2024.
But before that, I want to just drop a few jewels, like why it's important to lean into our trauma this year. All roads leads back to self.
Absolutely. Let's go.
You know what I mean? Because we talk about healing, but we never really discuss why it's important.
Right.
So I wrote some notes down, if you don't mind me sharing really quick.
Yes.
So facing our trauma is important for several reasons. One, healing and recovery. Confronting trauma is a crucial step in healing the process, allowing individuals to work through emotions, understand the impact, and to move towards recovery. Two, facing your trauma is beneficial because you can prevent long-term effects. Unaddressed trauma can lead to long-term psychological and physical health issues. Facing it early can help mitigate a lot of these effects. Number three, it improves your mental health when you deal with your darkness. Confronting trauma with support can contribute to improved mental health, reducing symptoms of conditions like PTSD, anxiety, and depression. Confronting your trauma helps develop personal growth. Overcoming trauma can foster resilience, contribute to personal growth, helping individuals develop coping mechanisms and a stronger sense of self. Last but not least, facing your trauma creates healthy relationships. Addressing trauma can positively impact relationships by reducing the emotional baggage that might affect interactions with others.
Absolutely.
So although facing your trauma is challenging, seeking professional help and a support system from loved ones can make the process of facing trauma more manageable.
Absolutely.
I know I said a lot, but I wanted to give some jewels though.
Yep.
We give doggy treats here.
Yeah, that's spot on.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's spot on. No, I think that was necessary because, we shared a story, but then, like you said, we always want to give out doggy treats, something for people to bite on, reflect on, and also it's a tool. You just gave some tools that are applicable to continue with, the healing journey.
We want to build a quality life of value.
Absolutely.
We want to make our life really rich though. Like we come from a community of just suffering is the norm. Like I literally was talking to someone in the African American community the other day, and we were talking about certain situations, and I said, you know what? I'm going to do things different because I don't want my daughter to experience the same suffering that I experienced. Mm-hmm. And the response was, well, suffering is a part of our community.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's how we've been conditioned. That's deep down in ourselves, though.
Be ye transformed.
That's deep down in ourselves.
By the renewing of the mind. But anyway.
That's for another topic.
That is. Well, let's go. What you was getting ready to do?
Let the people know what to expect in 2024.
So what you can expect in 2024 is we're going to get a lot more intimate.
Yes.
Big Charles really have a vision to cultivate a community where we foster putting mental health first, where we foster putting our emotional health, physical health, financial health,
spiritual
health first. We're going to have guests to come on the show and tell their stories and how they overcome it and share their battles. We're going to continue to support businesses.
Yes.
We're going to have professionals to come on here and give us tools, not just talk about trauma, but financial literacy and how we can apply certain small steps to elevate our life and give us like a 5-year plan. My goal is to go into a deeper depth of becoming intimate with you off of the podcast, because reality is we only can talk about certain things on here as well.
And for so long.
Yes. But if we can create a community off the grid where we talking with you guys, we having events where we get to talk to you up close and personal.
Yes.
You take over, Big Shay. I'm talking too much.
That's cool. So essentially what Big Charles is saying is that we want to continue to cultivate and curate an experience for you guys that definitely is continue to be relatable. So yes, we will continue to have guests on the podcast to foster that relatability, to share their stories. Whatever we go through in life, there's someone that has that relatability, that has been through something similar or going through something. And so we just want to be a space of resources and relatability and keeping it real. Events. There's, like Charles said, there's but so much that we can do in the time that we have. There's but so much that we can say. So we are definitely going to be curating events to bring our community in closer and have some powerhouse people in the space as well to help us give you guys more resources to create the life that you envision for yourself. And as we've done before, in 2023, we will continue to highlight businesses, people that we feel are trailblazers in the business owner entrepreneurship space so that can be inspiring for current entrepreneurs, future business owners. But everything that we do is going to be to improve your quality of life, to improve yourself, to improve your family, to improve your relationships, and to overall just improve and foster the life that you see for yourself. So in 2024, we're pulling out all the stops. We're going to be working super hard behind the scenes to bring this vision to life for our community that we're creating, that we've created.
Why? Because we're going deeper into self.
Absolutely.
Deeper into self. We're going deeper, y'all.
Yep.
We're going to make it happen.
I'm excited for it.
I'm excited.
Super excited. Super excited. So
take us out of here.
Thank you guys for tapping in to this off-the-cuff episode where we wanted to keep it real with y'all.
Continue to follow, like, and support.
Yes, continue to share our content, talk about us, keep the buzz going, because we are one of a kind.
For sure.
One of a kind.
For sure.
5 stars, one of a kind podcast, spreading positivity out into the world.
All 2024, my theme for 2024, everything that I do will be unto God. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm not here for you to like me. I'm not here for you to want to get to know me. I am here to do everything unto God.
So get ready for some uncomfortable conversations. We love y'all.
Big Charles.
See you in 2024.
God in it.